Hello and welcome to Warblog. Today I'm looking at the Sheikh Miskeen scenario from 2016, Syria. The reason I'm sort of looking at this is because it's got a video in there on YouTube, but it's sort of so old. I think it's the first one I did. I thought I'd redo it. I'm just having a quick look. It looks quite different. Let me just maybe. I mean, obviously it's not much different, but no, I'll leave that there actually. But anyway, you can look at it on YouTube. I'm just sort of trying to figure out the sort of strategy. Well, we got al-Nusra front and Free Syrian Army units, and that's pretty much it. And then we got obviously Syria and some Russian air support. Now, in the playthrough that I did originally, there was a lot of sort of, well, not so much excuse making, but sort of saying, well, I can't do this yet, or I can't do that yet. I mean, the turn thing was a bit in error, and I still don't think I've figured that out properly. Not that important. I think it's better than it was in the video, but you know, things like you could think you could move over rivers, or you could fight over rivers, and I can't remember exactly what makes it sort of so limiting. I think the units were retreating sort of completely randomly, etc., etc. I seem to remember what I did in that original game was to consider a sort of a defence and an immediate defence, sort of falling back like that, and then pushing all these units into here, so that I was defending this sort of space. But I think in one of the videos, or in that video, or I think I did a couple of them like that, I actually played a sort of very slight variant on that, where I actually counter-attacked where I could, and did a few sort of 1-to-1s or 2-to-1s. So I was actually counter-attacking, and I think one of the things that played that other video up was some of the units couldn't move on their first turn because of the way their movement was sort of allocated, and that was having an effect. I mean, it's the first video, and if you look at it, it's come a long way, but it's not really changed that much. I mean, the rivers are darker, a lot of the movement is sort of different. I'm not sure the artillery had any ranged fire. They still had the force, so possible. Anyway, I think actually when I started doing the videos, I was a lot more developed in the game. You know, I didn't do videos when I first started it, and I just sort of started doing videos when I was starting to play them. It just seemed like a good idea at the time, and it's sort of almost quite a significant part of the way I do things now, just because the videos provide a sort of you know, a very, very clear platform for actually watching the gameplay and practicing it, but also promoting it and being able to put the video in with the game. So that's a few minutes on that. I really don't know what sort of strategy to take. It's the sort of thing that I just sort of wish, again, that I had the time to sort of play it and sort of think, well, what could I do with that line? So, well, let me take an easy start on this, because I think no matter what I do, these units have somehow got to move into Sheikh Miskeen. They don't have much option. Now, what happened in the video before, I think they just walked straight up here because there were no zones of control, but there's zones of control now. So, yep, so he's now in a zone of control. Now I've got a chance. Okay. Do I really want to try attacking this armour? Now, another thing that would be different is that these will be at like half strength against an armoured unit. So armoured units are far more powerful, but bear in mind it's a regiment. You can see how long ago I would never do a regiment with just 6. I mean, it would be more like a no idea where I got the numbers for, but this really should be, you know, if I was to revise this properly, I'd change all the numbers. But anyway, the game is what it is, so not sure whether to sort of just cross this river now. I think I'm going to have to, at least to get a presence there, otherwise this armour will move in. Obviously I probably can't get there with this, because if you look at it, there's no bridge there. See if I can at least exert a zone of control over that river. So what have I got there? 12 defence. I mean, look, it's armour, armour, armour. 2 infantry, infantry, mechanised. I think what I'm going to do, move these 2 here. First off, how far can I move with these? Because these are going to be the anchor. Quite a way by the looks of things. 4 in total. So 1, 2, 3. So I could probably fold everything back to the city line. No, I'm not. That. So I think, again, I could say this quite a lot in games like this. I'm waving my hands around. You can, there's always a first move. You sort of think, well, this is the first move for a defensive posture, as I could still have tried to sort of cause trouble to bring the fight out into the open, but I don't think it really benefits me. You know, this armour looks formidable. So, Syrian turn. Well, what they would really like to do is to possibly try and take this hex here, or try and take that one and block all this out. Can we do that? With ease. These zones of control. Yeah, so there's a zone of control there. I should have moved there actually. That was a mistake. Right. So some artillery. So again, there's no air defence units. Okay, well, 3.3.3. So I could have moved that in there, and that would have been an archetypal first move for this game. So what are they in? So that's dense urban. So it's going to be, I think, times 3. So we were 4, 12. So this is going to be like a 2, possibly a 3 to 1, because I get the bonuses for armour versus infantry, so they'll be worth, I think it's like, they'll be worth like about 9 or 10. Let's say 10, 20, 30, 36. So it's getting on for 3 to 1 there. I reckon it'd be between a 2 or 3 to 1, because they've got some depressions there. Well, let's see. 3 to 1 and a DE with a die roll of 1, so that was good. And that's very good, because now that means that you've achieved the main objective of taking that, splitting their forces up, but we've moved into another zone of control, unfortunately, which makes sense. So I can't get across. If there was a little unit in there, I would be able to. Okay, so here I don't know if I can move through agricultural. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm not really going to be able to exploit anything, but I can probably pick a part of the line to attack. That's worth 4, that's worth 4, that's worth 4, that's worth 4 and 4. It's a perfectly formed line because you've got doubled up there, straight across there. I think the place to attack is the centre of that line. Okay, let's see how much it takes to get through agricultural for armour. 1 movement, that's good. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, they're going to be worth 4, nothing more. So all I'd need against that is 8, 16, 20 points. And I've got 6, 12, 18, 6, 12, 18, and I've got 2 in there. So I could do 2 attacks. I could split this up so much. Possibly destroy 2 stacks, possibly 3. I move there and there. I could do an attack there, an attack there, and anything else could be against this. But that assumes I don't get any exchanges. Let's move. Okay. Ugh, go away. Right. So we'll try this one for. Oh, look at that! It's all moved up. 12. But they'll have a bonus, so they'll be worth like 20 against 4. That'll probably be about 5 to 1. Let's try it. 4, 5 to 1. 5 to 1 DR. Okay. And he's got 1 movement, so I could actually move into there, which will cause him problems. I don't think he has enough. It's not as though he is actually, and even if he did have some irregulars, I'm worth 6. So, well, that was not really what I wanted to do, because now I've got nothing to take that stack. How much movement has he got? 3.6. 3. Let's do it like this. Okay. It's going to be tight, and I shouldn't have moved that other unit. Although, how much movement does he needs? 1. it's only got one movement. Is it better to move into there, or to eliminate this stack, or potentially only get a DR on it? Is it better to get my zone of control into there? I think it is. I'm gonna play a conservative move on that, and just move that into there. Which I can't move that into there because it's stuck. He's not really movement now, so it's movement of 0. Because I can take them out next turn. But the reason I do that is because now he's stuck. He can only move 1 into there and shuffle along. He might have been able to get a bit further, but he can only move there. We had to move that back there, so it probably wasn't the best move. But I've got so much time. I mean, you know, we're going to do it. So, Free Syrian Army. Well, they've no chance to take that back. Look at that, he's got 8 defence. This goes back. I'll have to change that. I might modify this scenario. I mean, can I do anything against this one armoured unit? He's worth 6. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. I might get a 2 to 1. It's probably going to be a 1 to 1 because they'll all be halved to 8. But it's the only chance we've got of doing any damage. Low. Well, we've maintained our defensive position slightly. We sort of want to stay there. Oh, we want to move through here. And let's do an attrition against this tank. Didn't think of that. No. Okay. Let's try for some attrition. Nope. Okay. Syrian army turn. Not really much need for airstrikes. Got so much manpower, we can definitely do it. Okay. 2.8, 3.8, 1, 4.9. Okay. Well, one thing we missed on that, which I didn't think about, so I've made a few blunders, especially for the Free Syrian Army side, because I should have taken that hex, because now they can just come all the way through. I'm going to move him there. Ooh. No. There. Okay. Let's use the artillery on that. No routes. That should be close though. 7.4, 4.2, 4.5, 2.4. So, what to do? Well, the infantry, once it moves, it's not going to be able to do much. So, what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to move in with these three. How much depressions has he got? 1, 1. So it's going to be worth 8. 2. It's going to be a 2 or 3 to 1. Should really put something else in there just to make sure I get it. Seven to 1 and a DR. Okay. Well, I think the first thing might be to push into here. Oh, that was convenient. 4 to 1, not the best of odds, but a DE. Seven to 1 DE. Oh dear me. He's even got movement points left. And so does he. Not much. Nothing. What I'm going to do with this is no 3.4. I'm leaving the other flank free to run away or do it once, but these were free to run away, do whatever they want, as they were. But I think that sort of clears that up a little. Well, the Syrian army was going to try and run away. That was why I wanted to sort of leave something there to stop him from sort of doing that. But if I could have, see, this unit was from here, so he moved across. This unit here came from here. I could have done it. I could have done it with just those two, but I didn't want to sort of, you know, I chose to make sure I got rid of those 4 units as opposed to these. And these are going to run away as well. It's interesting. That's because it's still a free Syrian army turn. I've got to end their turn and then get to 1 movement left. 1, 2, 3, 4. I should be able to fire at my artillery at these. Okay, 1.4, 2.2, so we haven't been hit before. Okay. D would be good. Yep. D. And here. Another DE. And there you go, that's the Sheikh Miskeen scenario played through again. About nearly 2 years after it was first played on that video. And I think I'm going to have to make some adjustments, especially, well, at least on the artillery, because it shouldn't have 8 defence. I mean, it should really only have 3, because it's a regiment, and it shouldn't really even be a regiment. But I'll give it 3, just because it is flagged as a regiment. But I might give the other ones, the Al-Nusra Front units, some irregulars, just to bring it up to speed there, and also maybe put in some air defence units, and that should give it a little more, I don't want to say balanced because it's not supposed to be balanced, but those are sort of elements that probably weren't in play when I built this game. And it would probably have a small effect. I mean, even just the fact that, you know, a couple more insurgent units will be a few more units. You know, there's quite an overwhelming force. I mean, especially considering one of the things that has topped it up for the Syrian side that wasn't in play when it first started was the differential on the armour versus infantry. You know, they don't have any armour to sort of stand with, and so that armour is going to be worth, you know, they've already it's like I've given the Syrians, you know, plus 100% doubled their numbers just because they've got so much armour. So but that's it. So it's interesting to play these games through, and as I said earlier on, I sort of coined a phrase, "It is what it is." I mean, I know I didn't make that phrase up, but you know, no matter how you look at these games, there are sort of games you sort of think, well, that was so easy. It's not a balanced game. Gone through the old chestnut and not having to be balanced, of course, but there's still the is what it is sort of perception of, can you do better? You know, did I make that mistake there? Could the opening move have been different? What are the permutations given the factors to you know possibly help the Free Syrian Army side last longer, or even possibly win? Because I can't imagine them winning. But you know, what are the variants on that? It's like like a lot of the games. It's a chess puzzle. You know, can you delay it for more than 6 turns? You know, we got up to 3 turns there. You know, can you delay them for up to? Can you survive up to turn 5 and get a moral victory? You know, I mean, my first move was to bring everything back into a line along there. You know, when I did that the first time, you know, I obviously did that and lost, and then I did some counter attacks and actually did quite well because I got to, you know, I forced them to do a DR because I've got good dice rolls, and I sort of thought, well, hang on, you know, the effect of that was far higher because what I managed to do was to inflict damage, not necessarily casualties, but I got depressions on the Syrian units, and that's far more effective than just losing completely outright. So, you know, if I did it again, would I do that? I don't know. But anyway, so that's that. So I'm going to add this video. Hope you enjoy that. If you feel that you can do better, sign up and give it a whirl. Speak to you later. Cheers. Bye.